welcome to another one of my videos. This is a place to inspire and to be inspired. I got this walking pad 6 weeks ago maybe, and I've used it a ton. I love it, it's amazing. I got it on Amazon, less than $200. My plan today is to build a standing desk to go over this walking pad. I would love to be able to read my Kindle or edit videos or crochet and just have whatever I need on the desk here. I'll show you some ideas of what I'm thinking for the desk. My plan is to push this back a little bit further against the wall or closer to the wall, and then have the desk be super easy to just slide back and be against the wall and kind of look like a shelf, and then pull it forward when I'm ready to walk on it and do stuff. So stay tuned if you want to see how I do this. I will also be linking this below if anyone's interested. So the first step is going to be figuring out my measurements. I'm between 5'3" and 5'4", and since I'm standing on this walking pad, it gives me a few extra inches as well. So I want the desk to sit around my belly button, I think. And then the width, I want it to be wide enough to still have my laptop, any kind of crochet supplies, and a drink. And luckily we had some extra wood in our shed, so I'm just going to be using a piece that we found for the top. And then for the legs, we'll go pick up some lumber from Lowe's, and then we will build those together. And for the measurements, I decided on 44 inches for the height, 31 for the length, and then 14 inches for the depth. And this is the part where Kyle gives me a quick explanation of how to use his saw because he doesn't want me to cut off my hands, and honestly, neither do I. It's field trip time. We're going to Lowe's and we're picking up some lumber. I'm kind of just winging it, so I do need to figure out how many feet I can fit in my car with the front seat down and the back seat open to the trunk. I feel like I could get 6 to 7 feet long 1x4s in here. I just need to do the math and figure out how many I need. I've been procrastinating that part, but I have my measurements and I have my tape measure, and now we gotta go to Lowe's. So I found some affordable white wood. They are 1x4s, and I needed 3 8-foot pieces. And this is me just checking them, making sure that none of them are warped. I want to pick 3 nice and flat, smooth, straight boards. But then I came across the premium pine, and they were just better quality. They felt better, they were more sturdy. It felt like the right thing to do. I wanted this to be a good quality piece of furniture that I could have for a while. So it's definitely not necessary, but it's the option I chose. Secured the goods. Now to go back home and start cutting these bad boys up. So for our first cut, we're gonna measure 44 inches. So now we should have 4 14-inch pieces and 4 44-inch pieces. Sawdust. So now I just need to wait for Kyle to get home because he has screws in his truck, and the next step is to screw everything together. So in the meantime, I'm just going to make some more granny squares. I need about 45 more, and then I will have enough to make my blanket, and that will be a future video. So as soon as I get close to finishing, I'll start filming that video. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in crocheting a blanket. Okay, so for our legs, we're gonna need a drill, screws, and some wood glue. We already started putting one side together just to make sure that the plan would work out. So we're gonna take 2 of these. This is gonna be the height of our desk, and then these are going to get boxed in like this. So for the sanding portion of this, the sanding paper that I had here, it technically was not the right size for the sander that I had, but I made it work anyway. And I chose to use 220 grit, and it did the job really well, especially because the top that I'm using is wood that we already had in our shed, and it needed a lot more sanding than the legs. So this ended up working out for me, but obviously I would recommend getting the right sandpaper for your sander. And at this point, I decided to just let Kyle take over the cutting. We needed to cut the tabletop to the right size so that it could go on the legs. And at this time, I was ready to start filling in the holes with some wood filler. This one was super easy to use. I just took it out with my finger, filled in the holes, and then flattened it the best I could. And then I used a razor blade to scrape off any extra. And then I was able to start sanding it down to be flush. And now for the stain, I'm just going to be using Early American, I believe is what it's called. I wanted it to match the other furniture in my room, so this one seemed to match perfectly. And of course I'm going to use gloves, a little rag, and then just applying a thin coat all over the entire piece. The AC was on in the background of this video, so hopefully it's not too annoying. I tried to reduce the sound as much as possible, but it's still kind of lingering in the background of this video. Hopefully it's not bothering you too much, but I did the best I could. And finally I get to bring it into my room, and the stain was perfect. It matched the other wood furniture perfectly. I think it's so cute. It's the perfect height. It's exactly what I wanted. And when I pushed it up against the wall as well,
I can make it a little shelf. I don't know what else to put on it to kind of make it look like it has a purpose other than just being a desk, but it's good enough for now. It's a little cluttered in this space, but you gotta make do with what you got. So I hope you guys liked this video, and please let me know if you guys decide to try this project.